Maybe these days you've been telling yourself that you just need a better routine. You need a nap in the day, another printable, another checklist. But what if the real problem isn't actually your time management? What if it's the belief that your worth is measured by your output, how much you're doing in a day? I used to be this person. I used to live by the checklist, the to-do list, and the longer that it was, the more valuable I felt, until God used one of the hardest seasons of my life to teach me that I do not need to do that anymore. So if you've been hustling just to feel enough, good enough, this episode might give you the perspective that you've been needing. Welcome to the Modern Homemaker Mom podcast. I'm your host, Jynae Schmidt. If you found yourself here, it means that you're ready to break free from overwhelm, create a peaceful, well-run home, and finally live with more structure, margin, and stability. Here you'll find practical rhythms, real-life systems, and faith-filled encouragement you need to simplify your home and reclaim your time so that you can show up fully for the life God is calling you to. Let's get started.
I bought the Modern Homemaker Method course almost 2 months ago now. And I'm not even finished the course yet, but I wanted to share this win. My husband and I share our home office, and it had been so hard to stay on top of the clutter. We had no system or plan in place to keep the office tidy, so the room was always a mess. I hated working in the office because of how much clutter was in it and how distracting it was. In my mind, it would take a whole day to tidy up, and as a busy postpartum mum, I didn't have that much time. So I put it off for weeks, which turned to months. Then came the Modern Homemaker Method, where Jynae showed me that all I had to do was one simple step at a time so I can reach the goal without overwhelm. For 3 days, I spent 30 minutes decluttering the office, and I can't believe how easy it was. The first day, my son and husband wanted to watch a movie, so when the 30 minutes was up, I left the office and I spent time with my family. I didn't feel guilty or overwhelmed because I knew I was making progress. Now our office is tidy and clean. I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel overstimulated or distracted when I work anymore. I have space for my walking pad. I use it during calls and it reminds me of the progress I'm making at home as a homemaker, one simple step at a time. If you're on the fence about buying this course, get off the fence. I understand that it can be hard to commit to a course when life is already so busy and overwhelming. But this course is what you need to get rid of that overwhelm and maintain a peaceful home that works for you and your family. Thank you, Jynae, for creating this course. I can truly feel the love that you poured into it. God bless you.
I must say, when Jennifer sent me this testimonial, I was listening to it and I just had this massive smile on my face. I was like, this is why I do what I do, because it's all about the small wins. It's all about the little simple shifts, the slowly implementing this new rhythm into your life. And then all of a sudden you realize, hey, I've accomplished this thing. It feels so good. So if that testimonial stirred something inside you and you were listening thinking, I need that too, you do. My signature course, Modern Homemaker Method, is currently closed, but I'm relaunching this fall 2025, with a full program makeover, 2 brand new modules, updated tools, and even more step-by-step support to meet you where you're at in this season of your life. Now, I'm not relaunching and giving the course a makeover because the original course wasn't already working, because as you heard the testimonial from Jennifer, she's had great results. I've had other students going through it. I'm hearing great feedback, but I am giving it a makeover because I have found a way to make it even better. And I want you to be the very first to experience it. The waitlist is where it all starts. This is my VIP list. You'll get early access to the course, exclusive bonuses that nobody else is going to see. Only my VIP waitlist people are going to see these bonuses and these VIP offers. And you're also, when you're on the waitlist, you will get first dibs to the course before enrollment opens up to the public. So if this course, Modern Homemaker Method, is on your heart, don't wait. Join the list now and make sure that you don't miss your window when the doors do open. Go to jynaeschmid.com/waitlist, jynaeschmid.com/waitlist, or tap the link in the show notes to get on the waitlist. Because if you're serious about stepping out of survival mode, this is your next step. Okay, now let's jump into the content of today's episode. So for the longest time, I believe that rest had to be earned. If my house was clean, if the list was done, everything was checked off my to-do list, if everything looked good on the outside, it wasn't until then that I could finally breathe. This is what I would tell myself. I would finally give myself that permission and that reward to rest. I chased this version of a good day or a perfect day or whatever, like it was the prize, like you wanted that thing, but you had to do the work to get there. I had these pages, literally journal pages filled with checklists, checkbox, things to do. And the longer that the list was, the more productive I felt, because I'm one of those people, I love checking things off of a list. In fact, I am the kind of person, now you might laugh at me for this, but maybe this is you. I'm the kind of person that if I already did a task and it wasn't on the to-do list, I'll go back, write it down just so I can check it off. But anyways, what I didn't realize about this super journal filled page of checkboxes to-do list is that it was slowly over time, it was breaking me down. And then when I got pregnant with our first baby, everything changed for me. This was a very pivotal point in my life. I was not just a little bit sick, like pregnancy sick. I was sick all day long, every day for over a month. I don't know why they call it morning sickness, because for me, it was 24/7 sickness. I literally remember waking up between, it kind of seemed like the routine was 2, 3 a.m. so that I could absolutely run to the bathroom as quick as I could and throw up. And at the time, my husband was working out of town, so I was completely alone in this. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't cook. I couldn't clean. I couldn't even stand and walk around the house some days. I was that sick. And at first, oh my goodness, I hated it. It killed me mentally, because for a woman who had built her identity around how much I could do, being forced, literally forced to stop, made me feel like I was failing. But in the stillness, in the quietness, when everything I used to rely on was literally kind of stripped away from me, that's where God met me. And honestly, I think that it's because I actually finally had to slow down enough so that I could actually hear that still small voice. That's when I heard what he had been trying to tell me for a long time. I was just not necessarily ignoring it, but I wasn't hearing it. And when he met me there, he did not meet me with shame, with guilt, with this pressure to do more, but instead he met me and he told me, you were not made to hustle. You were made to slow down. And so it didn't happen overnight. This transition, it did not happen overnight, but in that quiet, uncomfortable season, slowly I began to see it. I began to see the way that I had overcomplicated homemaking, the way that I equated my peace with how productive I was, the way that I wore burnout like it was a badge, not because I wanted to, but that's just the state that I was in that time of my life. And I started to wonder, what if I just submitted it all? What if it could be simpler? Because if you've been on the show for a while, you hear me talk about simplicity all the time. And I just thought, what if it actually could be simpler? Now, that season was incredibly uncomfortable for me. It took a whole lot of refinement. And like I said, it didn't happen overnight. This was months and months of work. Throughout, I felt like that whole pregnancy was just God working on me behind the scenes. And honestly, it wasn't something I would have ever necessarily chosen on my own. But this is where that, like I said, all that unraveling began, that work behind the scenes. And then it's this rebuilding began. Because once I was pulled out of that hustle culture, out of this routine I've gotten myself stuck in with constantly going, constantly doing more, I started to see just how much pressure I had been carrying, how much stress I was putting on myself. And slowly I realized the problem wasn't just the to-do list. It was what I believed in the to-do list. It was the mindset around it. So let me walk you into what's really going on underneath all of that and how everything began to shift for me, because maybe you are in a season where as you're listening to me tell this story, you're really resonating deeply because maybe this is you. Now, my first point, like we already previously talked about, my identity was equated to how much I got done in the day. I used to think that the longer the list was, the more value the day held. If I could just get through all of those tasks, the house was clean, dinner was made, floors were mopped, then I could finally feel like I had done enough. But that never actually happened, because the list never ends. We always can continue adding to the list. And when I didn't finish everything at the end of the day, I felt behind. Like I was failing at homemaking, like I was somehow failing at being a wife, failing at being a mom, failing at being a woman in general. And yet I kept doing it. I was just stuck in this cycle. I kept writing out those endless pages of to-dos, not because it worked, but because it was the only way I knew how to measure my worth. And the funny thing is, or maybe I should say sad thing is, if I got to the end of the day, even on those days where I got 95% of my list checked off, I would look at those 2 to 3 tasks that I didn't get done. And instead of being like, wow, I had a really productive day today, I would look at that list and I'd be like, I didn't finish these 3 tasks. I'm a failure. Like, you guys, I'm really being raw and transparent with you of what my thought process was through all that, because I think it's in the rawness of the seasons of life that we go through and how we share that with others. That's where we can really heal. That's where we can really maybe even help someone else's life and transform someone else's life by sharing our testimony. Because I'm here to tell you, I'm not like that anymore. I've gotten past that. And that's why I'm able to share this story with you today. Now, when you heard me talking about simplifying things earlier, simplifying wasn't tied into the physical side of things. It was actually it had to start with my mindset. It didn't begin with the routines. It began with the way I believed things, my mindset. I had to unlearn this lie that productivity equals purpose. I had to stop asking myself, how much can I get done today? And start asking myself, what actually matters? And that's where simplicity started for me personally, not just with fewer tasks. Yes, there were fewer tasks that I did, but it also came with these lighter expectations of myself, because when your worth isn't on the line and you can actually breathe throughout your day, you can finally see what is actually essential, what needs to be done, and what isn't. Now, what simplicity looked like in real life for me is one of the biggest changes I made was I stopped trying to do everything in one day. I'm a perfectionist. You may have heard me say this before, so I get caught up in this very easily. I used to deep clean the whole house in one day, every Friday, so that I could wake up on Saturday, which is our rest day, our Sabbath, and I could feel caught up. I could feel like I could really relax. But the truth is, it only ever left me feeling drained. But now, fast forward to present day, how I do things is I've built these rhythms where each day of the week has a small focus. I give my home a little attention every morning, nothing super crazy, nothing elaborate, just a couple of chores. I have a purpose, I have a vision for what needs to be done, and then I'm done for the day. I'm done my chores for the day. And because there's a time and a place for everything now, I don't have to constantly think about the dishes needing to be done or the laundry needing to be folded or the floors needing to be washed, because I know when those things are getting done. And the mental relief of that, that's everything. Like, seriously, that is everything. It gave me back my energy. It gave me back my margin in the day, my time. It gave me space to enjoy time with my daughter and sitting outside, working on my business without that guilt and shame. Now, in the bigger picture of things, simplicity is also a way of life. So it's not just about the housework. It's about the kind of home that I wanted to build, that I still do want to build, the kind of legacy I want to leave behind for my children. When I think about the women who came before us, thinking about like 200 years ago, the pioneers, those wives, those mothers who had so much little, they didn't own a whole lot, but they lived so intentionally. And I realize, like, fast forward to today, how much we've overcomplicated absolutely anything. Just think about it. Like, everything is about hustle. Everything's about chasing the next thing. Their lives back then were quiet, purposely quiet. It was grounded. And while, yes, our world looks very different today, we're not still riding horse and buggy, I still believe that we can learn from their lifestyle. We can take aspects of what they did and implement it in more of a modern day approach. Because at the core of all of this, they kept things simple. And that's why I will live and breathe and stand from the rooftops and shout the word simplicity and always be encouraging every woman out there that I talk to about how can you simplify your life? Because simplicity brings stability. And I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, stability is one of the number one needs of a woman. So that's what I want. Not perfection, not performance, not hustling all day long. I just want rhythms that make room for the things that matter most in my life, and rhythms that flow with my particular season of life. Because simplicity is not about slacking off. It's not about being lazy. It's not about scrapping everything that we need to get done. It's about making room for what matters most in a day. Because this is where the freedom comes. Freedom to rest. Freedom to be present with your family, present with your kids. Freedom to live the life that God is actually calling us to live, not the one that culture and the world is telling us that we need. Now, if everything we've been talking about today is hitting home, that is not something for you to ignore. Staying stuck in survival mode doesn't just feel hard, it becomes your normal. And the longer that lasts, the harder it is to break out of. What you don't need is more hustle. You do need a better way. And Modern Homemaker Method was created to give you exactly that. As stated earlier in this episode, I am reworking the entire experience to serve you more deeply. And what's coming next is designed to walk with you step by step into a home that feels peaceful and manageable, a home that you can steward well. So the doors are closed now, but they will be opening again in fall 2025. So where you want to be right this moment is on the VIP waitlist. That is where you're going to get access to everything very, very first before anybody else. You're going to get early enrollment, private bonuses that the public won't get. Only my VIP people get these bonuses. Behind the scenes updates before the doors open again, all that good stuff. So if you are ready for a change, go to jynaeschmid.com/waitlist, jynaeschmid.com/waitlist, or tap the link in the show notes below. I would love to help you take that next step. Now, in summary of this episode, what I shared today was not about more cleaning routines or more hustle in your life. It was about your identity. It was about realizing that you were never meant to carry the pressure or the burden of proving yourself through how much you get done in a day, through proving yourself how productive you can be. Here's what I want you to walk away with from today's episode. You're not bad at keeping routines. You've just been trying to follow these systems that do not match your current season of life. And one of the biggest things I want you to remember is you do not have to earn rest. You are invited to it. You are allowed to have it regardless of how many tasks you've gotten checked off that to-do list today. Now, I want you to stop right now and I want you to ask yourself this. What would change in my home if I stopped trying to prove myself and started trusting that simplicity and simplifying things actually is enough? That's all for today. If this episode resonated with you and you feel like it connected with you, I would love if you could take a minute to leave me a written review on Apple Podcast or go ahead and share this episode with a friend who could also use the encouragement. Until next time, I'll see you next week, same place, same time. Did something in today's episode encourage you? If it did, would you take a minute to hit subscribe and leave a quick review? It's such a simple way to support this show and help other homemakers find this encouragement as well. And if you're looking for even more support in your homemaking journey, come join our free Facebook group. Just head over to bit.ly/homeroutines. Thanks for tuning in today. I'll see you in the next episode.